Imagine walking behind a local business and spotting a pile of materials waiting to be hauled away. Most people would see nothing but garbage. A gardener, however, sees free supplies. Among those discarded items are materials that can improve soil, create garden structures, reduce expenses, and make growing food much easier. Every day, stores throw away objects that still have plenty of practical use. While some gardeners spend hundreds of dollars on raised beds, planters, compost bins, and other supplies, others recycle these overlooked materials and build productive gardens for very little money. The reality is surprisingly simple. Many of the things your garden needs may already be sitting behind local businesses, waiting to be rescued. Today, we'll explore 10 valuable items that stores routinely discard, but experienced gardeners know exactly how to turn them into useful garden resources. 1. Wooden pallets. Few discarded items are as versatile as old wooden pallets. Behind warehouses, hardware stores, nurseries, and retail shops, piles of unused pallets are often stacked up, waiting for disposal. Yet these simple shipping platforms can be transformed into countless useful garden projects. At first, they appear to be nothing more than rough pieces of lumber, but with a little imagination, they can become raised beds, compost bins, trellises, vertical planters, pathways, storage shelves, fencing, and decorative garden features. One of the most popular uses is creating vertical gardens. Standing a pallet upright and filling the spaces with soil creates an efficient planting wall that's perfect for herbs, strawberries, lettuce, flowers, and other shallow-rooted crops. This method is especially useful where space is limited. Small patios, balconies, and compact backyards can support far more plants by growing vertically instead of spreading across the ground. A pallet herb garden placed close to the kitchen provides convenient access to fresh herbs throughout the growing season. Strawberries also benefit from this design because the elevated fruit stays cleaner and is less likely to rot or suffer pest damage. Many gardeners take pallets apart to reuse the individual boards. Those reclaimed boards become raised beds, edging, compost bins, fences, trellises, and dozens of other DIY garden projects that would otherwise require purchasing new lumber. Pallets also make excellent compost bins. Simply standing 3 or 4 pallets upright and fastening them together creates a sturdy compost enclosure in just a few minutes. The gaps between the boards allow fresh air to circulate while keeping compost materials neatly contained. Not every pallet is suitable for gardening, however. Choose pallets stamped with HT, meaning they were heat-treated. Avoid pallets labeled MB, since they were treated with chemicals that aren't recommended around food crops. For a cleaner appearance, pallet wood can be sanded, painted, stained, or sealed before use. Many gardeners eventually use pallet wood to build potting benches, outdoor furniture, garden walls, and seating areas. What begins as discarded shipping material often becomes one of the most valuable resources in the entire garden. 2. Produce crates. Produce crates are another overlooked treasure commonly discarded by grocery stores. Originally built for transporting fruits and vegetables, these crates are designed to withstand heavy loads, moisture, and constant handling, making them ideal for garden use. Their greatest advantage is that they're already excellent planting containers. Unlike many flower pots, produce crates naturally provide outstanding drainage and airflow, helping reduce waterlogging and encouraging healthier roots. Turning one into a planter requires very little effort. Simply line the inside with cardboard, burlap, landscape fabric, or an old cotton shirt to hold the soil while still allowing excess water to drain away. After adding soil or compost, it's ready for planting. Leafy vegetables like spinach, lettuce, and arugula perform especially well. Herbs including basil, parsley, cilantro, oregano, and mint also thrive in these containers. Larger crates even provide enough depth for crops such as carrots, radishes, and beets. Their lightweight design makes them easy to move. Unlike permanent raised beds, crates can be relocated to catch more sunlight, protect plants from severe weather, or reorganize the garden whenever needed. This flexibility is especially valuable for apartment dwellers, renters, or anyone gardening on patios and balconies. Produce crates also work wonderfully in vertical gardening systems. By stacking them securely, gardeners can dramatically increase growing space without expanding the garden footprint. Their usefulness doesn't stop after planting. Throughout the season, they serve as harvest baskets, storage bins, tool organizers, and produce containers. Because the sides remain open, harvested fruits and vegetables receive plenty of ventilation, helping them stay fresh longer. Plastic crates last for years outdoors without rotting. Wooden crates provide a rustic appearance and naturally decompose over time. Either way, these free containers often perform just as well as expensive commercial planters. They're durable, practical, breathable, and often available at no cost. For budget-conscious gardeners, few discarded items offer greater value. 3. Coffee grounds. Used coffee grounds are among the easiest free soil amendments available to gardeners. Every day, coffee shops dispose of large quantities of spent grounds, even though they still contain nutrients that can greatly improve garden soil. One of their biggest advantages is their nitrogen content. Nitrogen is essential for healthy leafy growth and vigorous plant development, making coffee grounds a valuable addition to both compost piles and planting beds. Their benefits go well beyond nutrition. When incorporated into sandy soil, coffee grounds improve moisture retention, allowing the ground to stay hydrated longer. In heavy clay soils, they help loosen compacted earth, improving drainage and creating better conditions for root development. Coffee grounds also encourage healthy soil biology. Beneath every productive garden lives a thriving community of bacteria, fungi, and countless beneficial microorganisms. These organisms break down organic matter and convert nutrients into forms plants can easily absorb. Coffee grounds provide an excellent food source for many of these microscopic helpers, increasing biological activity throughout the soil. They're especially valuable in compost piles. As a nitrogen-rich green ingredient, coffee grounds pair perfectly with carbon-rich brown materials such as shredded cardboard, dry leaves, and paper. Together, they create a balanced compost mixture that breaks down efficiently. Some gardeners also spread a light layer around plants as mulch. Used sparingly, coffee grounds help conserve moisture, reduce weed growth, and gradually improve soil quality. However, it's important not to apply them too thickly. Heavy layers can become compacted, reducing water penetration and limiting airflow. Another advantage is their appeal to earthworms. Worms readily consume coffee grounds, producing nutrient-rich castings while creating tunnels that naturally improve soil structure and aeration. Healthier worm populations usually mean healthier gardens. Some gardeners also believe coffee grounds help discourage slugs and snails, although results vary depending on local conditions. Like any organic amendment, moderation is important. Using excessive amounts in one location can compact the soil or slightly influence its acidity. For the best results, coffee grounds should always be mixed with other organic materials instead of being applied alone. When used properly, this everyday waste product becomes a simple, inexpensive way to enrich soil, support beneficial life underground, and encourage stronger, healthier plants. 4. Egg cartons. Paper egg cartons may seem like ordinary household waste, but they can become one of the most useful tools for starting a garden. Because they're divided into individual compartments, they naturally function as small seed trays, making them ideal for germinating plants indoors. Each cup serves as its own miniature container. Simply fill every section with seed-starting mix or light potting soil, plant your seeds, and keep the soil evenly moist. The separate cells prevent roots from becoming tangled and make it easier to organize different varieties of seedlings. One of the greatest benefits of paper egg cartons is that they're completely biodegradable. Unlike plastic seed trays, they don't need to be emptied before transplanting. When the seedlings are large enough, simply cut the carton into individual sections and plant each one directly into the garden. The paper gradually breaks down in the soil, allowing roots to spread freely into the surrounding ground. This greatly reduces transplant shock. Since the root system experiences very little disturbance, young plants continue growing with minimal stress after being moved outdoors. Egg cartons are perfect for starting tomatoes, peppers, cabbage, lettuce, herbs, and many other vegetables. They offer an inexpensive alternative to commercial propagation trays while giving household waste a second life. Their usefulness extends beyond seed starting. When torn into small pieces, paper cartons become an excellent brown ingredient for compost piles. Their fibrous material improves airflow inside the compost while balancing nitrogen-rich materials like kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, and fresh grass clippings. Some gardeners even use empty cartons to organize seeds, bulbs, plant labels, or small gardening accessories. Very few household items are this versatile. Something that usually ends up in the recycling bin can become an essential part of a productive and environmentally friendly garden. 5. Unsold or overripe produce. Every day, supermarkets throw away fruits and vegetables that no longer meet their appearance standards. Bruised apples, soft tomatoes, wilted greens, and overripe bananas may no longer attract customers, but they're still packed with nutrients that can benefit your garden. One of the easiest ways to use these leftovers is by adding them to a compost pile. Soft produce decomposes quickly, making it an excellent nitrogen-rich green ingredient. Banana peels, leafy vegetables, melon rinds, cucumber scraps, and similar food waste rapidly break down, feeding beneficial microorganisms and speeding up the composting process. As microbes digest these materials, they create rich compost that improves soil structure, boosts water retention, and supplies plants with valuable nutrients over time. In other words, food that was destined for the trash is returned to the soil to support the next generation of plants. Overripe produce is especially useful because it has already begun to soften, allowing it to decompose much faster than tougher garden debris like branches or woody stems. Some vegetables can even produce another harvest instead of becoming compost. Green onions can regrow from their roots in water. The bases of celery and lettuce often produce fresh leaves. Potatoes that have developed sprouts can be planted to grow entirely new plants. With a little effort, yesterday's food waste can become tomorrow's crop. As with any compost ingredient, balance is important. Large amounts of soft produce can create an overly wet compost pile, limiting airflow and causing unpleasant odors. Mixing these moisture-rich materials with dry leaves, shredded cardboard, or paper helps maintain the proper balance. When managed correctly, discarded fruits and vegetables become one of the most valuable free resources a gardener can find. What grocery stores consider waste can eventually become fertile soil and healthier harvests. 6. Cardboard boxes. Cardboard may not seem like an exciting gardening material, but it's one of the most valuable resources available for free. Every day, grocery stores, furniture retailers, warehouses, and shipping companies dispose of enormous amounts of cardboard that can dramatically improve a garden. Large appliance boxes, shipping cartons, and packaging materials all have useful applications. Before using them, simply remove any tape, staples, plastic labels, or glossy coatings that won't break down naturally. The remaining cardboard is biodegradable and highly beneficial in the garden. One of its most popular uses is natural weed control. Instead of digging weeds or applying herbicides, gardeners simply lay sheets of cardboard directly over unwanted vegetation. Overlapping the edges prevents weeds from growing through the gaps. Once soaked with water and covered with compost, mulch, soil, or grass clippings, the cardboard immediately begins doing its job. Because sunlight cannot reach the weeds beneath, existing plants gradually die while new weed seeds struggle to germinate. Meanwhile, moisture and oxygen continue moving through the cardboard, allowing healthy soil life to thrive underneath. As time passes, the cardboard slowly decomposes. Instead of becoming waste, it turns into valuable organic matter that improves soil structure, increases moisture retention, and enriches the ground. This is especially helpful in compacted soils that lack organic material. Cardboard also forms the base layer of the popular no-dig gardening method, often called sheet mulching or lasagna gardening. Gardeners simply place cardboard over existing grass and build alternating layers of compost, leaves, mulch, and other organic materials on top. Over time, these layers decompose into deep, fertile soil without the need for tilling. Another advantage is that decomposing cardboard attracts earthworms. As worms feed and tunnel through the soil, they improve drainage, increase aeration, and naturally distribute nutrients throughout the garden. Many gardeners also use cardboard to establish instant planting beds. Rather than digging out an entire lawn, they cover the grass with cardboard, add compost and soil above it, and plant immediately. Eventually, the grass decomposes beneath the layers, leaving behind rich, healthy soil. Perhaps the greatest benefit is the price. Cardboard is usually available for free, yet it performs many of the same functions as expensive weed barriers and commercial soil building products. What businesses throw away every day can become one of the smartest investments in a productive garden. 7. Paper bags. Brown paper grocery bags may appear disposable, but they can become surprisingly valuable additions to any garden. Made from natural paper fibers, they decompose easily, adding organic matter back into the soil instead of ending up in a landfill. One of their most effective uses is as a natural weed barrier. Simply flatten the bags, lay them across the soil with the edges overlapping, and cover them with compost, mulch, or wood chips. Like cardboard, they block sunlight from reaching weed seeds while still allowing water and oxygen to penetrate the ground. Because paper bags are thinner than cardboard, they break down much faster. This makes them an excellent option for seasonal vegetable beds or gardeners who want quicker soil enrichment while still suppressing unwanted weeds. Paper bags are also a valuable addition to compost piles. Shredded into small pieces, they provide carbon-rich brown material that balances nitrogen-heavy ingredients such as vegetable scraps, fresh grass clippings, and green garden waste. Their loose fibers also help improve airflow, allowing compost to decompose more efficiently. They can even serve as a temporary mulch. A thin layer helps reduce evaporation from the soil while gradually breaking down and enriching the ground beneath. Beyond soil improvement, paper bags have many everyday gardening uses. They're perfect for collecting weeds, gathering fallen leaves, storing seeds, organizing harvested vegetables, or carrying garden supplies. Some gardeners even place paper bags over young plants to provide temporary protection from strong afternoon sun, drying winds, or light spring frosts. Although most people throw them away after bringing home groceries, paper bags can continue serving the garden long after their original purpose has ended. 8. Broken terracotta pots. A cracked terracotta flower pot doesn't have to be thrown away. Even when it's no longer suitable for planting, its broken pieces can remain useful in the garden for many years. One of the most common uses is improving drainage in containers. Small terracotta fragments, often called crocks, can be placed over drainage holes before filling pots with soil. They prevent potting mix from washing out while still allowing excess water to escape freely. Good drainage is essential for healthy plants. Without it, water collects around the roots, increasing the risk of root rot and fungal diseases. Terracotta pieces help maintain better airflow and reduce these problems. Broken pottery can also improve heavy garden soils. Mixed into compacted or clay-rich areas, the fragments create small air pockets that enhance drainage and allow roots to grow more easily. Terracotta isn't only practical, it can also add character to the landscape. Its warm, natural color blends beautifully into garden settings, making it ideal for edging flower beds, creating rustic pathways, or designing decorative mosaics. Larger shards can be reused as plant labels, shelters for beneficial insects, or small protective collars around delicate seedlings. Unlike synthetic materials, terracotta naturally weathers over time and becomes part of the landscape. Even after a pot has broken, it still has plenty of useful life left. 9. Old newspapers. Unsold newspapers are another everyday item that can provide tremendous value in the garden. Their greatest advantage is natural weed control. Several damp layers placed directly over the soil form a barrier that blocks sunlight, making it difficult for weed seeds to germinate. Many gardeners lightly wet the newspaper before laying it down. Moist paper stays in place more effectively and begins breaking down sooner. Covering it with mulch improves the appearance of the bed while preventing the paper from blowing away. As the newspaper gradually decomposes, it adds valuable organic matter to the soil. This improves soil texture, helps retain moisture, and encourages beneficial microorganisms beneath the surface. Newspapers are equally valuable in compost bins. Since they're rich in carbon, they balance moisture-rich green materials and help create healthier compost. When shredded or torn into strips, they also improve air circulation inside the pile. Compared to cardboard, newspaper is thinner, lighter, and easier to shape around established plants or tight planting spaces where greater flexibility is needed. For the safest results, most gardeners avoid glossy inserts and heavily colored advertising pages, choosing plain black and white newspaper instead. What starts as yesterday's headlines can eventually become rich, fertile garden soil. 10. Plastic containers and buckets. Restaurants, bakeries, grocery stores, and delis regularly dispose of durable food-grade buckets and plastic containers that still have many years of useful life remaining. Built to carry heavy ingredients and withstand constant handling, these containers are perfect candidates for countless gardening projects. One of the simplest ways to reuse them is as planting containers. After drilling several drainage holes in the bottom, they become sturdy pots suitable for flowers, herbs, vegetables, and even compact fruit plants. Because many buckets are deeper than ordinary flower pots, they're especially well suited for crops like tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, potatoes, and other plants that need extra room for root development. Their adaptability is another major advantage. Gardeners can easily convert them into self-watering planters, improve airflow by adding ventilation holes, or use matching lids to better regulate soil moisture. Buckets are also excellent for small-scale composting. Adding a few ventilation holes creates a compact compost bin capable of processing kitchen scraps while taking up very little space. Their usefulness extends far beyond planting. They provide convenient storage for hand tools, fertilizers, harvested vegetables, seeds, gloves, and other gardening essentials, helping keep everything organized and protected. Because they're lightweight, buckets can easily be moved to follow the sun, shelter plants from severe weather, or rearrange the garden whenever necessary. Perhaps the biggest advantage is the savings. Instead of buying expensive containers and storage systems, gardeners can reuse materials that businesses intended to discard. With a little creativity, these overlooked buckets can replace many commercial gardening products while reducing waste and saving money at the same time.